Hello, welcome back to the studio. I'm Dr. Wigo, and today we're here for my review of MacBook Air 15-inch, which I bought recently and did an unboxing of. And today I'm here to tell you why I made a mistake and shouldn't have bought this particular MacBook. If you watch the channel, you know I tend to buy things on impulse. Well, this is something I bought on impulse. And my impulse, while my heart was in the right place, my brain wasn't completely engaged. It was new, it was shiny. What was I supposed to do? So if you watch that video, which I will link up here about buying this, I had several reasons. One of the reasons was because I didn't really have a laptop I could use, because I haven't owned a Mac in 15 years, and my Windows laptop, which I use for travel, is, I don't know, 8 years old, 10 years old. It's old. It came with Windows 7, if that gives you a hint. Of course, if you're Mac people, you have no idea what I'm talking about. It's old, but it still works and does what I need when I'm on the road. But I keep threatening to do some vlogging, and that would mean maybe doing some editing out on the road. So I figured, well, I'll get a MacBook, and then I can do DaVinci Resolve and like edit right here on the MacBook while I'm on the road, upload videos. It'll be like having a little mobile studio. Yeah, not quite. Here's the problem. Here's why I'm not really doing a review per se, is because if you watch the reviews of the 15-inch MacBook Air, they all compare it to the MacBook Air 13-inch, which I do not have never had, know nothing about. So I can't compare it to that. Or they compare it to the MacBook Pros. Well, I've never had one of those, so I can't compare them to those. So the only thing I can tell you is, it's not a bad little computer. Or as I was talking to my friend Brian the other day, he asked me what I thought of it, and I said the words that you never want to hear about a product. It's fine. And it's fine. It does the stuff I need to do. Like I've used it as a teleprompter of sorts. I don't really use a teleprompter, but I've had notes on it in front of me here up on the table in the past on some videos. I use it for email. I use it for things that don't tax it much. I wanted to test it with DaVinci Resolve, so I did. Oh, side note, first thing I learned was, remember my little enclosures? I used the Acasis enclosure to export a DaVinci Resolve project off of my PC. It got too hot and locked up and wouldn't work. So heat problems here. But as you all know from another video, which I will link below, I also have the Orico enclosure, which had better heat sinks. It worked just fine. And I was able to edit, and editing's not fun on this. I mean, it's not as easy. I don't have as big a screen to work with. The editing was fine. Now, rendering out a video, the video I was playing with took me 3 minutes to render on my PC with a 3090, and took over 6 minutes to render on the MacBook Air. It's not a big difference. I could live with that. So it's functional, and I'm going to keep it. It's not that I don't like it. It's just fine. It's not special. It's not wow. It's not amazing. It's just fine. The one thing I don't like, this is not a problem with the MacBook Air. This is a problem with the Mac OS. I'm used to Windows. Yeah, I know. But in Windows, when you change the screen resolution, when you go to like full 4K, the icons get like much bigger so that you can still see them. And on this, they scale with the screen resolution. So in order to do things a lot, I would have to change the screen resolution, and that gets annoying fast. This just works fine. The speakers are good. I like the way it sounds. And apparently, from the reviews I've seen of people comparing it to the 13-inch MacBook Air, the speakers are much better, but they all say not as good as the MacBook Pros. But again, I don't know anything about that either. But maybe I should. And this is where we get into the mistake I think I made by buying this on impulse, which is what I do. But if you go, and I'll put this up on the screen, MacBook Air 15-inch has the M2 processor, 8-core CPU, 10-core GPU, 8 gigabytes of memory, 256 SSD storage, and all this other stuff for $12.99. If you go look at the 14-inch MacBook Pro, yeah, it has the M2 Pro, or you can also get it with an M2 Max, 10-core CPU, 16-core GPU, 16 gigabytes unified memory, 512 gigabytes of storage for $19.99. And you go, okay, well, so this one's much cheaper. Is it? Is it really? Because the first thing I had to do, the 256 gigabyte SSD is bull. It's just crap. It's a single chip, so it's half as fast as all the other ones that you can get. The 512, the 1 terabyte, the 2 terabyte. They're all much faster because they're multiple chips. Whereas this one's a single chip, so it's like the slowest you can possibly go. So you can't really, it's really not even really usable. But it makes it $12.99. Upgrade from the 256 gigabyte SSD to the 512 gigabyte SSD, that's $200. Now it's $14.99. And in fact, this is such a common configuration that if you go to the order page on the Apple website, it puts them side by side, the 15-inch MacBook Air for $12.99 and $14.99 with the bigger, because it knows nobody's going to pick that. If you're picking the $12.99 to save $200, you're giving up so much performance that you're really just burning money. Okay, so now we're up to $14.99. Oh wait, the Mac Pro has 16 gigabytes of unified memory. So let's upgrade, which I did. I upgraded this to 16 gigabytes of unified memory. Well, that's another $200. So now we're up to $16.99. I'll say $16.99, $19.99. Now we're at a $300 difference. Well, what do you get for that $300? You get a much better display. Yes, slightly smaller. The 14-inch, it's 14-inch versus 15-inch. But it's an XDR display with much brighter, up to 1,000 nits, whereas this one's only 500 nits. You get an extra Thunderbolt 4 port. You get a full-size HDMI port. You get an SDXC card slot, handy for if you're doing videos and taking cards out of cameras. You get quite a bit for that $300. So what I should have gotten was the 14-inch MacBook Pro. Now, I also, by the way, upgraded this to the 1 terabyte SSD, which is another $200. So now I'm up to $18.99. Now you say, well, that's only $100 less. Yeah, but I'd have to upgrade that one to the 1 terabyte, which would still be a $300 delta. By the way, Linus Tech Tips did a video, I'll link it down below, called Starting at Prices or Nonsense or words to that effect. Because, yeah, starting at $12.99, it's not usable at $12.99. You have to do at least $200 to get the SSD that's fast enough. And then you really, and this is a problem, not just with Apple, this is with everybody these days, Dell, it doesn't matter what the brand is, what kind of PC it is. But laptops, you have to choose your memory and your SSD size when you order it, and it cannot be upgraded later. They're soldered onto the boards. You saw in this video, I got like a 2 terabyte for like $100 and something, and this enclosure was like $100. To get a 2 terabyte on here would be an extra $400. Those prices are ridiculous, and the memory prices are ridiculous. They charge an outrageous amount to upgrade your memory and your SSDs, and Linus talks about it. And again, it's not Apple, it's all of them. But wait, you might say, what about size and weight? I mean, the MacBook Pro is going to be so much heavier. Yeah, 0.2 pounds. This is 3.3 pounds. The 14-inch MacBook Pro is 3.5 pounds, or 3.6 pounds if you get the M2 Max chip. And actually, it's somewhat small. It's thicker. This is under ½ an inch, and that's like under 3/4 of an inch. So it's a little bit thicker, but it's actually not quite as wide because the screen's smaller, and it's not quite as deep. You're not really getting a lot more port. Now, with the 13-inch MacBook Airs are much lighter. That weight, 0.2 pounds, and then I get all this extra I/O on the sides. I should have bought a MacBook Pro. But it wasn't new and shiny and exciting, and they didn't suck me in. But like I said, I know it says review. I put it in quotes in the thumbnail and in the title, so you'll know this isn't really a review. It's perfectly usable computer. I like it. It's a fingerprint magnet, by the way. Don't get the dark one. I don't know if you can see that, but there's just fingerprints everywhere on it. My review is that I'm relatively happy. It's fine. Nothing wrong with it. for FaceTime and Zoom and that kind of stuff. I'm pretty pleased. I'm just unhappy that I spent all this money when I could have spent just a little bit more and got a lot more. Faster processor. Oh, I didn't even go into all the stuff about even the base model 14-inch MacBook Pro has a 16-core GPU, whereas this has a 10-core GPU. So again, it would be faster for video editing and all that kind of stuff. And then of course you can upgrade from there. When I do get around to getting an M3 or whatever MacBook Pro, it's probably going to be even more expensive because I'm probably going to load it all up with the cores and the GPU and all the cool stuff that you can get. As an entry level computer, the 15-inch MacBook Air, I don't think it's worth the money. If the screen size is that important to you, maybe. But like I said, as soon as I upgraded it to be at all reasonable, it was almost as much as a MacBook Pro and almost the same weight, just a little bit lighter and a little bit cheaper and lacking a lot of the features. I'm going to get a MacBook Pro someday, not this year. I'll wait for the M3 or maybe even the M4. No, you know me, I won't be able to wait that long. It's fine. That's my review of the 15-inch MacBook Air. It's fine, but you can do better. For just a little more money, you can get a lot better computer. Again, sorry, not really a review. I'm not sad I bought it. I mean, it's a good thing to have. I'm glad I have it. Next time I travel, which may be a while, the arthritis in the spine and all. Yeah, getting old is not for the faint of heart. That's my review. I'm happy with it, but I'm not thrilled with it. It's okay. It's fine. Now, coming up next week, I will review the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And I'll give you a preview right now. I've had no overheating issues. I've had no problems with it. It works just great. But I'll tell you all about it next week. So that's it from here. Thanks for stopping by for my review. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. I'm still waving. Can't stop waving. Can't stop the music that I hear in my head.